All right, guys, what's going on? Dan back here with the Regular Guy Garage. A quick update. I went to go put the car on the trailer, and I've been having an issue with the starter and flywheel. What happened was the starter got loose on me. I never really noticed it, and then it started grinding the flywheel. I thought I was able to save it, but the flywheel is just to the point where, the engine's just not kicking it over. So what I have to do is a lot of work that I'm not too happy about. I have to just slide the trans off, get the flex plate out, or I said flywheel, but flex plate. I'm gonna get the flex plate off. I'm gonna change the flex plate and starter, and then get this thing back up to get an alignment done, and then we can get it to the track. And to be honest, I wasn't gonna get to the track this week anyway, because as you can see, the weather is terrible. It's been raining. I wasn't going to film any of this flex plate reinstall or swap or whatever, but then I decided to do something. When I crawled up under the car, I was kind of looking at, how much room I had, and I don't want to, I got to take off the long tubes. I got to drop the exhaust, got to, drop the trans, all that stuff. And then I decided, you know what? I'm going to try something that I searched on the internet. I haven't really found too many people that say they were able to do it on this car anyway. I'm going to try and change this flex plate without dropping the transmission completely. I'm going to leave the exhaust in, I'm going to leave the long tubes in. All I'm going to do is unbolt everything and slide the transmission back. So far I got the drive shaft out. It's over there. That's the only thing I really did so far. And the starter. So I'm going to take off. Next step, I'm going to unbolt the torque converter, and then unbolt the cross member for the transmission, and then undo the bell housing bolts. And with my little trans jack, I'm just going to try and slide the whole thing back, see if I can get access to this flex plate. And this will greatly reduce, one, the amount of time that it's going to take me to change this flex plate, and two, the levels of my aggravation with this car at the current moment. So all right, so as you can see, the exhaust is still fully bolted up to the car. Long tube headers are still bolted in, haven't touched it. Well, one thing you're gonna need, obviously, a trans jack, right? I removed the drive shaft. I removed the 2 bolts off of the transmission mount that mounts to the cross member. The cross member's still hooked up, haven't even touched it. All right, so I learned that you can indeed pull a flex plate out of a Foxbody without even unbolting the exhaust. Even if you got long tube headers, without dropping the transmission out. As you can see, unbolt the torque converter. The block plate's kind of just floating here for now, because it doesn't really get held up by much. But as you can see, flex plate's out. All I did was just unbolt the thing from the bell housing, set up my jack, slid it back. Now, the engine will fall down, so let me show you how I'm securing the engine. So before I took anything out as far as transmission and stuff, I set up this ratchet strap here. I just kind of went around the belt tensioner and then hooked it off to the hood latch. So I put tension on it so that this way the engine is granted it's on the motor mounts, but it's being held at this angle by this ratchet strap. If I loosen this ratchet strap, this engine is going to want to fall down like that and then make it impossible. Not impossible, but just complicate things. So when we finish this up, all we'll have to do is bolt the new flex plate on, which I just have to get one. Additionally, actually, one thing, this took way longer than it should have, because these are the flex plate bolts that I had gotten from Jegs, and I think they're like JW Performance flex plate bolts. They're ridiculous, okay? Because, if they were just regular bolts where I could have used a wrench, I could have had this thing off incredibly quick. Don't buy those things. I'm gonna get some regular flex plate bolts, because the Loctite didn't make it easy, plus the limited amount of room. It made it harder than it needed to be. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna get my new flex plate. I'm gonna get a new starter as well. The starter is kind of like, the teeth kind of are not really chewed up, but anyway, I'm just gonna get a new starter, new flex plate. Hopefully won't have this issue in the future. I don't know if I didn't tighten the starter enough or how it loosened up to the point where it got loose and then just started tearing up the flex plate and starter. So I'm gonna get this stuff, throw the thing back in the car the exact same way, and we'll pick up the video from there. All right, so here is the new Flexplate. This is a TCI Flexplate. I went ahead and spent a little bit more money instead of the one that was in the car was just a cheap $50 Jegs one. And now here I am replacing it because the teeth got ground off in a couple spots. So, you know, the old adage, buy once, cry once. This TCI plate, Flex plate was about $100. I think maybe a couple dollars more. So we're gonna put that in. And then also I went ahead, if you remember that last video, I had those rounded, those bolts with the rounded heads, and they had like Allen heads for the to tighten them. So we got some ARP flywheel bolts, or flex plate. You know, 13 bucks, can't go wrong. So I'm going to get back up under the car, get this thing in, and you know, shouldn't take too long. It only took me 2 hours to get it out. And that was, like I said, didn't drop the exhaust, didn't drop the transmission, nothing. Just slid everything back. Took this out. So let me get up under here. I'm going to put it back up in the car, and then you know, I'll give you a progress update along the way. All right, kind of rough to film under here, and there's no light, but flywheel is in, as you can see. Trans is still there. Remember, I didn't take off the exhaust or anything. It's all still there. I just slid everything back. So I'm going to torque these bolts down really quick, slide the transmission in, and then bolt everything else up, and we'll give it a start and make sure everything's good to go. Got the car all done, back on the ground. Going to roll out of the garage, start it up, let it warm up. We are going to, well, one, identify that the torque converter or the flywheel is fixed when we start it up, and then two, we're going to test out these front shocks. See how the suspension sets as the car gets down the road. All right, guys, so got the flywheel back in the car. It only took about 3.5 hours, and the car starts much better now. Not sure why it happened. You know, maybe that starter, the starter got loose somehow. So, it is what it is. We got it fixed. Car starts fine. We're going to go out and go racing. We've actually already went racing, but I forgot to record the last half of this video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Check out the playlist for the build for this car. Follow along on the journey as we try and get this car as fast as we possibly can. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't follow me on Instagram, @RegularGuyGarage, I post on there every now and again. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm going to put the old alphabet cam theory to the test.